I might just wait here for a little bit. Let time pass. I might just wait here for.
So I'm back. So this is part two of You Need to Get Rich Now. So it's a lot of stuff from part one that I forgot and that I wanted to say. So that video was running kind of long, but there's still some other things that I want to touch on. So this video is mainly about why not you? I'll put them houses and everything, the mansions in the beginning, the cars, because I want you to think, because a lot of people, of course, you might have stumbled upon this on social media, or you might be somebody like me who like to look up mansion videos or nice houses on YouTube and just dream of, dang, this is nice. I wish that I can have this. And my response is, why not? Every time you see something, you have to ask yourself, or tell yourself that there is somebody who can afford this. There is somebody who can get this. And if they can do it, why can't I? That's the main thing that really changed my life. That made me start to view life differently. And it really started when I was younger when it came to driving. So I was a late driver. I was somebody who I actually went to driver's training at 16, but I didn't end up actually getting my first car and my license until I think I was like 22, 23. And you know, a lot of people got cars at 16. Like I had a boy, he had his license in his car at 15. And you know, a lot of people senior year of high school, they get their car and everything like that. So 22, 23 is kind of it is late. Now there are some people I actually know somebody who didn't get their license until they was 30, but we know that that's rare. And the people who never drove, there's a good amount of people who never got their license or never drove at all. But we know that's the rarity. So for me getting my license at 22, 23, it was late. And then it was in part one because I didn't have no one to show me. Like I didn't have, because I'm the oldest, so I didn't have no big brother. My dad wasn't there in my life, and then my mom paid for me to go driver training, but she always had a nice car, and she never wanted my car to be the test car. 'Cause you know, after driver training, they tell you need to do like 30 hours, so I forgot whatever it was, a certain amount of hours they wanted you to do on your own with your parents before you took your road test. And my mom wasn't, she wasn't having that. So I always, that was part of the reason. Then another reason, of course, I didn't have nobody to give me a car. I didn't have a family that was rich or somebody, you know, that was going to buy me a car at 16. So I had to get that on my own too. So when I got 22, 23, I never forget, shout out to my boy Nick. And he was older. He was my boy's older brother, basically. And we used to always, because he had his own house, so we used to always be over there. And he told me, like, man, it's crazy that you're not driving. And we all worked together at Home Depot. Well, we wasn't working there at the time, but we did all work at Home Depot before, a couple years before this. And he told me, like, because there was this dude who you could tell he was slow, like he might have had autism or he was on the spectrum. Like you could tell like he was, or he might have just been socially awkward, but like you know, you could tell that he wasn't at bare minimum, he was socially awkward. Let's just say that. And he might have, like I said, had autism or something like that. But he had a van and you know, he drove and everything. And he told me, like, man, if he can drive and got his license, why can't you? I know you smarter than him. And then it hit me, which is messed up to say, but it is what it is. It hit me like, yeah, dang, it is crazy. Like a dude who might actually be on the spectrum is able to drive and was able to figure out how to get a car, but I can't. So that was really my motivation to be like, okay, yeah, let me get it together. So I was working at Lowe's at the time, and then he was cool, like, man, you could stay with me for a couple months. You don't got to pay bills or nothing. Just get yourself together. Make sure you're working or whatever. So that's what I ended up doing. I had to, cause he was always at work, so I couldn't even. It's not like he could help me drive either. What I actually had to do was actually hustle and go to a driving instructor, and I had to pay for like 3 days worth of classes. Forget how many hours it equaled. There's maybe like 1 or 2 hours a day, so maybe it was like 6, 7 hours. And he had to teach me how to drive and prepare me for my road test. Because what I learned too is that you don't have to be a perfect driver to take your road test. You just need to be good enough. And then once you get your license, you learn after that. Because it could take, it might take a year before you really master driving. You got to really, just like anything in life, you got to put in the work, and it's trial and error. So I ended up doing that. And then luckily he took me on the route that my road test would be on. So I got to really see what I had to do. So make a long story short, I ended up passing barely because of the, parallel parking, just like most people in I was kind of like most people struggle with, but he knew that. That's why he still passed me because he's like, well, everything else you good at. So I ended up getting my license. Then from there, ended up getting my first car. Of course, I had to get a car note because I wanted the car ASAP because I just got my license. So I'm like, I don't got time to be saving up thousands to buy a car. So I think I put like 800 down or five 500 to 1,000 down. So I ended up getting my first car, and there goes the story. I've been driving for like what 10 years, 15 years now, something like that. So I say all of that to say is that me thinking of why not me? Why why can't I do this? Is what motivated me to actually do stuff. And then it is true, you gotta look at it like this. There's people who richer than you, who more successful than you, but they not even smarter than you. They might not can articulate themselves, or they might not just be um, smarter than you, but they able to do it, or they able to succeed because one, at least they at least try. That do matters for something. Because I'm somebody who perfect example is like rap music. How everybody a rapper. I'm one of the people who from the old school, like most of these rappers trash, just too many rappers. But at the same time, I don't blame them for at least trying because you never know. Rappers that I think that's trash that blew up and made money and millions. So it's like, who am I to really be the judge for real? And then some people win because I do believe like there's some people who might be better rappers or make better music, but they didn't try or put the work in, so they never got to get anywhere. So that's why they always say it's half about putting the work in, and then it's half about being talented and actually being good at what you do. Because some people succeed just by trying. And like they always say, you miss all the shots you don't take. You can't win the lottery if you never play. Them things is true technically. When you think about it, like, I mean, trying does account for something. If you don't try, you would never get nothing. Just like a girl, if you don't talk to her, you never know what happened. But at least if you talk to her, you know if she was gonna reject you, or it's a chance that you might have talked to her. And that's what always been my motivation for dating and really never being scared to approach or talk to a woman, because the hurt of not knowing is bigger than the hurt of getting rejected. And then there's a slim chance that, or depending on who you is in the situation, there's a good chance that she could talk to you. Because I didn't been shocked before. There's been girls that I just, tried. I just tried the normal approach and just, hey, shot my shot, and then surprisingly it worked. I didn't have some crazy. We talking about the money now. I ain't even gonna get into that story. But let's just say I didn't have some crazy stuff happen basically just from trying. Just shooting my shot, and then next thing you know, that same day we getting it in. So, you never know unless you try for real. So getting back to getting rich and um what this video is originally about. So if you don't try, you would never succeed. Getting back to the first video is that people then got too content with living a normal life. People telling them that you need to minimalize, you need to live a strict life, you need to not have fun and enjoy your life. And like I said in the first video, you only get one life. You only get one life. So to spend your one life trying to nickel and dime and living in the hood or living or driving a shitty car, could that be the biggest thing that I always get into people arguments about? Now, like I said, I didn't did it before. I didn't had to buy a car for I think it was 2000, a 2010 Malibu. This was a couple years ago, and didn't have no Bluetooth in there and everything like that. But I was able to save money, and it got me to go to get to where I need to go, because that was actually when I first moved into the house that I am now. That cost me, of course, thousands. I don't even remember how much I paid to move into here, but I knew because I was getting charged cleaning fees that was like 250, 500. Just it was crazy. So I was like, yeah, I don't need no car right now. I just need me something, to get by. And I had that car for maybe a year before I ended up uh selling it and upgrading and getting a Chrysler 200 that I bought cash. And I had that for like a year, and now I got, the newer the Challenger, the Genesis, and all of that. But yeah, so I understand you have to do what you have to do, but you shouldn't be like that for your life. Like during periods, or if you're trying to get on your feet, like I didn't have to do, that's cool, but you should always be striving for the best and to get and have the better things in life. Like they say, traveling, having nice things. Like you only get one life. Why wouldn't you want to at least experience something nice, something good for yourself? You get what I'm saying? Like, why do you want to spend your whole life this, which I know, shout out to my dad. This the drove he had nothing but shitty trucks his whole life with dents in them, all type of stuff. Never had no nice vehicle in his life. Like that's crazy. Then of course I know people who never moved out the hood, lived in a shitty neighborhood their entire life. Like it's crazy because like they say, so much out there. Like the world is so much out there for you to experience and see. That's what I don't understand. Like, why would you want to spend your whole life living at the bottom? That's just crazy to me. Then why don't you believe that you can do it? Like, why don't you believe that you can make it work? And there's so many different angles to get rich. That's the thing, and to get it is to where like now it's not as hard as it was back in the day. Because like there's so many, the internet, we know, technology has created so many jobs that it's not even funny, though we complain that jobs is down and AI and a lot of jobs has been taken away. But like they said, a lot of jobs have been created. Look at DoorDash and Uber and stuff. Back before, even 20 years ago, it was only pizza places that deliver, and you had to get like a pizza delivery job at Domino's or Pizza Hut or something. Now you can do DoorDash and almost every fast food deliver food, and then like apps like that, Instacart, you can go shopping for people. Then well, like, and then we know all of the jobs that the internet then created, from all the way from web designing to being a social media influencer to a YouTuber, like it's to a streamer, like it's so much stuff and so many angles that people is really getting money from. Streamers rich, there's musicians, rappers, there's actors, you could be a doctor, a lawyer. It's a lot of avenues, an entrepreneur, into real estate. You can have be into stocks. Like it's a bunch of different stuff that you can do to be successful in life. But the main thing, like they said, that kills people is one, spending habits and being bad with money. You can't overcome that, because that's a lot of people. A lot of people would be doing good if it wasn't for their spending habits, and if it wasn't for living above their means. That's why I had to make the post about, they said basically 70% of people don't even have $1,500 saved, which is crazy when you think about it. So And that can be a lot of factor. Life is, don't get me wrong, life is expensive. Because this is another thing from back in the day that I will say that I just thought about is that yes, there's more opportunities to get rich and more jobs now, but life, I do believe that life is more expensive now than back then. Not even counting inflation, just that there's more things that you have to pay for now than before. Because the perfect example, there were no streaming platforms back then that you had to pay for. YouTube Premium, what else now that we have to pay for that people didn't have to pay for back then? I know like streaming platform, even games. Like remember back in the day, you get a game. It wasn't no online to where you had the microtransactions. We know that that's the big thing that everybody hate. It wasn't none. When you bought the game, that was just the game. You paid that with 40, $50, and you had everything. Basically, you unlocked it by playing the game. Now you have to pay to do it. Wi-Fi is another thing. People back in the day didn't have the internet or when I had dial-up, I don't even remember how much it cost, 'cause of course my mom, but it wasn't no 60, $80 like how we paying now for high speed internet. Like Wi-Fi is basically a bill that's built in now. It became a new bill because it's like what house don't have Wi-Fi? You can't watch TV, can't play the game, can't do nothing. So it's like can't use your computer. So it's like you have to have Wi-Fi. That's a brand new built-in bill. So then I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff that we pay for now that wasn't kind of enforced or a necessity like we have today. So life definitely is more expensive, for sure. And then, like they said, the wages don't match um the income. So there goes the inflation. But so yeah, there definitely is that. But then that's getting back to the original point, and I'm gonna end it with this. Like they keep saying stuff, the price of things is never gonna go down. That's the one thing that's guaranteed in life is that we never gonna wake up one day and then all of a sudden rent, is cut in half or Cardinals cut Cardinals cut in half like to where let's say the average rent now, I forgot what it is, but let's say the average rent is 2,000. There's never gonna be a time where we wake up and all of a sudden rent is the average is 1,000 now. If anything, which what we know gonna happen 10 years from now, the average probably gonna be 3,000 or 3,500. 20 years from now, it's probably gonna be 5,000. Like we know it's just gonna keep on getting up, going up, and we know they not gonna let wages catch up because of various reasons. So I say that all to say is that you need to start thinking about your future for one. Because we always like to live in the moment and get stuff for the moment, but you got to think about getting older when you don't want to, when you retiring, you don't want to be, because like that's what the new trend is now. There's a lot of older people, 60, 70, 80, that's still working because not because they want to, but because they have to. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be able to work. So I do believe, like they say, you die quicker when you're not doing them, but you want to be doing something that you want to do. Like you can, like when you older, you can maybe draw little paintings or create bases or something and sell them. Have you a little business versus you have to work at McDonald's or be a greeter at Walmart just so you could try to survive. Think about it, and I'm out.